Hi. I've for a really long time not really liked the reaction genre on YouTube. I feel it's a lot of people just reacting to something happening and it spawns a lot of fun memes, but when you think about it, it's pretty cringy. I think a lot of people, including myself, would look at a reaction video and it's like, this is a person who has no professional understanding of the subject matter he's reacting to. He's just going on what he feels and overreacting accordingly. And I'm not talking about commentary videos. There's a slight difference. It's often more researched and often less biased, and it isn't just purely putting on a thing and looking at it and going, oh, what is that? Who is that? What is this? I can't. But then at some point somebody had a really smart idea to have a professional in a field react to entertainment in that field within television and media. And it blew my mind. It was kind of popularized by channels like Wired, but I don't know if it spawned there. I remember seeing like professional vocal coaches reacting to vocal performances like at least a year ago. So as this is an ever-growing genre on YouTube and I have nothing better to do, this is a professional musician reacts to bad and good musical performances. Let's just jump right in. Oh, I remember this. So this is one of my favorite clips on the internet because it started a conversation between a lot of people. Is Herman Lee a good guitarist? I think yes. Now, I like all kinds of genres and every now and then I like some shreddy stuff. Yes, I've enjoyed Dragonforce. Sue me. I'm kidding. Please don't sue me. Please. Some of their songs are really anthemic and I love the album recordings and some of the videos are fun, but I genuinely have never watched a clip of them performing live all the way through. At least not for the reasons one would want. I genuinely think he's a good guitarist. I have always thought stuff like this, the overhand playing, that's gratuitous and unnecessary, but it's a big part of who Dragonforce are, especially if you look at a lot of their like earlier songs. It's like they wrote riffs to be played in inefficient ways. Like this intro riff isn't the only part. If you look at the original video for Through the Fire and the Flames, there's a bunch of stuff that they jump over, and that's fine. That's like a part of the act. I do think visual stimuli is a big part of music performance. What goes wrong here though? Does the shreddy bit gets pretty close to nailing that sweep pick. There's a note ringing that I don't think he intended, and then he does the signature dive bomb kick the guitar thing, and then the strap either disconnects or breaks, and I'm gonna go ahead and say I think the strap button broke off. That's a potential explanation, or the strap just came loose. That happens to the best of us. Now there's an extended version of this clip I'm gonna try and find and edit in post that show him just bailing off stage. And I don't know if it's to go get another guitar or if he's just mad. What went wrong is really interesting. This isn't cringe, I don't think, at least. To me, this is a equipment malfunction. The reason he does that kicky thing, I think he mentioned in an interview on the recording of Through the Fire and the Flames. He snapped a string on the end of that dive bomb and they used that take, so that's pretty cool. So he's always tried to replicate that live by bashing the instrument as much as he can. I think what went wrong here is people forget the limitations of gear. Lesson to be learned, maybe don't abuse your gear. Controversial opinion, don't break millions of dollars worth of equipment. Maybe it's just me. This is genuinely a great video, not just because of the music, but because of the cinematography itself. You can tell the cameras are set up, and a part of me is always skeptical on whether or not somebody did something in one take or did something entirely live. I just understand the realities of trying to film and record music. They have a big crew, so it's entirely possible. Oh, it's such a good break into the chorus. I'm a sucker for triplets. All of my arrangements have triplets at some point. That is the best performance I'll hear all day. some would point out the arrangement isn't super technical, and I think that works in its favor. They are capable of incredible arrangements. Go check out their arrangement of Let It Go from Frozen, mashed up with Vivaldi's Winter. It is an incredible piece. But here they've opted for the visual and the fact that it's being done on one instrument. And that's a really smart move. Don't overstimulate your audience, if that makes sense. And I'll be honest, does seem to have been done live. So that's really cool. I'm really excited for what comes next though. Oh, yes! I've seen a lot of this on the internet. It's like piano covers just don't do it anymore, so you gotta do some really original stuff with it. To my knowledge, they were the first people to do this. I do think like Walk of the Earth's 5 Guys 1 Guitar cover might have been first. But musically, this is a really enjoyable experience. This is such a good video. Again, note the visual spectacle. Musically, you don't need to have them running around the piano, but it really does add to the experience of watching the video. A personal favorite of mine is that Don't Stop Believing build up like in any context. So that's really great. So it's one thing with these kind of videos. The first video I reacted to was obviously taken by a fan at a live show and wasn't, you know, I don't think Hammond Lee consented to that. Personal belief, when you do something or post something or make yourself public in any way, shape or form, you open yourself up to criticism, good and bad. All Piano Guys stuff is really well produced, and it's hard to picture them being in a cringe compilation in any way. That is just an enjoyable experience all around. This is such a good video. I'm assuming this was during the time when Dream Theater were looking for a new drummer. Oh, I just love Dream Theater so much. Oh. Marco Miniman, incidentally, is one of my favorite drummers of all time. He also plays for the Aristocrats, Guthrie Govan's band, so. These songs are deceptively hard, because a lot of people I think about prog as like, they're just messing around. No, it's a lot of planning to get a band to sync up in odd time signatures like this. Dream Theater stuff is incredibly dense as far as time signatures and rhythms go. There's a really cool video where Mike Portnoy is talking through the time signatures of the Dance of Eternity. It's really cool.
Walk with us, if you will, through the nightmare which we call the Dance of Eternity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just
listen to that click track. Imagine doing an hour and a half, full set, different songs, all of them in different time signatures and different keys with super fast chord transitions. That just blows my mind. Like, imagine wrapping your head around this. It makes sense. John Petrucci and all these guys, and the bassist, I'm blanking on his name, knew each other since they were really young, and like since middle school, they were practicing like 6 hours a day. They're crazy.
This is what still gives me nightmares, but there you have it. That's the way to count through the chart. And
I just really love odd time signature stuff. It's amazing. So for a long time, a lot of these clips kept being shared with me. It's just the worst decision you can make in the world. I know I said I wasn't gonna cringe at kids. I don't know how old this guy is, but like, and there are a bunch of these videos.
You ever seen anybody sling your guitar around their head? Yes, I can do it. Can you really? I can. That's awesome.
No, you can't.
Okay, let's do it.
No, you can't. Dude.
Oh!
Now the best part about this clip is that it switches to a B camera. So this means these people were filming this. They weren't just hanging out. They have a bunch of amps behind them. I'm guessing this is early YouTube. They maybe didn't upload this initially. This maybe got uploaded way after the fact once you make peace with it. I have no idea how expensive that guitar is. But I'm gonna go ahead and guess if this is being filmed for YouTube or something similar. It's probably a review, so thus it's probably on the more expensive end. He handles it like a champ. That's like half of it though. If you make a stupid decision on stage, whether it be something like this, handle it. That first guy was lucky, he bashed his head a little, but he didn't hurt his guitar. I've seen much worse repercussions. Let me quickly try and find this clip. It gets worse every time I watch it. I've watched this clip a couple of times. Again, I said this earlier, just laughably stupid. In certain genres of music, it might be cool to do stuff like this. I mentioned Dragonforce earlier that do like stuff in it. It seems like the kind of thing Dragonforce would do. I don't know if they have, but it just stupidly seems like something they would. But especially less professional guys doing stuff similar to this, it's almost always ended badly. What have you gained, dude? What have you gained? I think the worst part is that it kind of derails the whole performance for the whole band. This gig was going fairly well, and you can see the frontman, the lead vocalist, still kind of pushing, still kind of trying to keep it up. It's like, okay, cool, something is wrong. I don't think he saw. I don't think he was looking in that direction. So he was probably just like, all of a sudden looks back, his guitarist does not have a guitarist in his hand anymore, and now he's switching to his different guitar. Like, what are you doing, man? I respect them for finishing this song. I respect them for, I don't know if they continue the gig after this, but like, gotta kind of respect them for pushing through this. Again, that's how you handle these things.
Guys, we just had a heartbreak. That's rock and roll, man. And the guitar.
I think that's maybe the more cringy part about this video. Oh, it's gone. It's destroyed.
Carnage. Rock and roll carnage at its finest. Right here.
You made a stupid decision, bro.
His strap broke. That's the second time that's happened.
What? What? He's done this before? Learn from your mistakes. Obviously, this was pre-internet era, so now we have like hours of compilations of people making bad decisions to learn from. Incidentally, I did a video about learning from other people's mistakes. Maybe you want to check it out, shameless plug. One of my favorite things about this solo, it starts out very slow and melodic. Like, I say slow, like everything's going crazy. But note his bends and everything are long, sustained notes. It only starts getting shreddy way later in the solo. Oh, he uses such nice licks. He is such a good guitarist. There's a bunch of like lesson videos where he explains his philosophy around the way he shreds and the way he approaches the guitar, which are really worth a watch. If you want to learn to be a good guitarist, Guthrie Govan is a good person to study. Yes. Oh, the sigh of relief at the end, that's amazing. Now with Guthrie Govan, I firmly believe that was one take. It's edited to kind of look that way with the one angle, so like, but with Guthrie Govan, I don't doubt that for a second. A good solo eases you into it. I kind of despise solos that go straight for the shred. Dragonforce, again, they have very shreddy solos that at some point get melodic, which is very interesting and very rewarding when it happens. And that's fine as well. This approach is one that resonates with me a little more. One of my absolute favorite solos, and I'm saving that one for last, does exactly this. It starts out very melodic, almost singable. If you can sing along to a solo, it'll be a really memorable one. That's kind of been my experience with it. Oh, gross.
Don't answer. Let it ring.
That guy's feeling exactly what I'm feeling. Gosh. Oh, wow.
When your concert gets interrupted, when do you decide to stop? Is it for your concentration or is it for the audience?
No, it is. Sometimes it's just too much. I mean, if you are in a big moment and the orchestra is playing and you hear faintly in the distance something, I mean, you just go on. But if the music comes to these moments where it's get more and more silent and more magic, and then this thing starts, and of course it doesn't stop, then I say, no, people should realize that music lives on something completely different than kind of being disturbed and thinking, oh, this is important. And I mean, the general attitude sometimes is just awful, you know. My wife sometimes sits beside, she has to go away because it's, if it's silent, if you see not being concentrated, it kills everything that, what is this about? This is the rare moment when our minds can go and focus on one thing. And we focus on it, and we prepare all this, and this is just the least you can do to honor it in listening and being there in silence, you know. But then, of course, it's also the advantage can be afterwards. People they know now. Hey, actually, there is something happening.
What a profound thought. Music is so much bigger, and everything has been prepared, and it's one place where we can all agree, yes, this indeed is music.
Don't answer. Let it ring.
I think the part that hits the hardest is the let it ring. Almost like he's given up in that moment. So much respect for this guy. Handles it? Continues. Similar to what I mentioned earlier. Again, it's all about attitude. This was obviously not his fault. My favorite part is this violinist who's just like, I keep seeing his face. He's still like thrown by this whole thing. It's like he almost died. So the next thing I want to show is genuinely my favorite guitar solo of all time. Not because it is the most virtuosic. That a real word?
No.
Virtuosic. It's not the most shreddy, incredible guitar solo. It has some depth, but it's surprisingly hard to play with the amount of feel that he plays with here. In this performance, Embrace Yourself, of Fireflies by Owl City in Tokyo, I think in 2014, the keyboardist grabs the camera that's near him and runs to the guitarist. So it's pretty shaky and films this solo. Oh, it hits me every time. So the thing I love about this solo, and I've listened to this 100 times, it progresses perfectly. It starts very melodic with the descending minor type of thing, works up, does some string skipping, some really tasteful lickage there, goes up, soars a little higher, has a little breath. That's something I recently started applying in my soloing. Rob Chapman also mentions this. Almost playing like it's a voice making the sound, so having breaths within your phrases. A lot of the classical composers did that as well. And you hear classical musicians literally breathing before they go in for their melodies sometimes. And they exhale with the performance, and a solo should be done similarly. After that breath, it gets a little more shreddy, and that has that really cool repeating line. Repetition legitimizes. That lick is cool, but it is so much cooler because it takes place like 4 or 5 times with chord changes over it. That is my favorite solo because it's one of the smartest written solos. It changed my life. It has influenced the way I write solos, and it just makes me very, very happy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. It's a little different from my regular content. Like I said, I've really appreciated Corridor Cruise videos, and there are a couple of independent artists in different fields that I've really been enjoying these kinds of videos. I hope that I've been able to give some informed commentary. If this video tickled your fancy, hit that like button, and if you hated it, go and comment how much you hated me and my stupid face and my whiny voice. See, I tricked them into commenting. If you're new to the channel, you'll notice there's a red button. What that does is that gives you like 500 million breaths of air that you can claim anytime you want. It's a new feature. We're trying it out. Are there any really bad or really good music performances you want me to see? Link them in the comments. I'd love to do a part 2. Goodbye. Goodbye. Boy, 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 boy.